Alright, how's it going? Welcome to Mangoes and Whales. My name is Greg, and welcome back to the Average Player's Guide to Dark Matter, a series in which I provide some tips and advice on achieving the Dark Matter Camo in Black Ops 3 from the perspective of an average or casual player just like me. This is episode number 5 in the series, and it's part 2 of the sniper rifles, and in this one I'm covering the Locus and the SVG-100, or your bolt-action snipers. I'm going to be going over the Chameleon Camo, which requires you to get 5 kills and 1 life 5 times with each of these weapons. And if you haven't seen part 1 of the sniper rifles, I definitely recommend checking that out, because I did go over some general tips in terms of getting Chameleon with the snipers, and I also talked about the Drakon and the P06. Now in this video, what you're watching is going to be 3 5-kill streak clips with the Locus, and then 3 5-kill streaks with the SVG-100. And in this video, I'd like to just kind of talk you through each of the clips, kind of explain my strategy as I go through each one of them, each one of the streaks, and hopefully that helps provide you with some insights on how you can approach this challenge. Alright, so in this one we got the start of the match on the map Fringe, and what I did just straight off the spawn is head right over to this common camp spot just to see if I could get myself started with like an easy kill. And it worked out for me this time. And now here in just a moment, I'm gonna kind of recognize on the minimap that I've got no team support to my right, and it's probably about that time that there may be a flanker over there. So I rotate over, and boom, there we go. So 2 kills in already. Alright, so right here there's an enemy who doesn't see me, and that was a little lucky, but what I didn't do is try to make too much of that situation. Instead, I just let him pass, and I waited until I could get a nice little line of sight on him, and hopefully shoot him in the back. And so there we go, just taking my time, and patience is important as you're going through this. There's no need to rush things. Don't worry about your score per minute. However, it is possible to be a little bit too patient and to let some opportunities go by. But I'd say more often than not, patience is a virtue when you're going for these challenges. So right here, you'll see another example of that. Actually, I know there's an enemy in this building because I can see him just barely on my thermal sight. But instead of rushing the shot, I waited. He has no idea that I'm here, so I could take my time, wait until he stops moving, and pick up the nice easy kill. Now right here I did end up missing this guy, but I am using the suppressor, and I highly recommend using the suppressor. It gives you an opportunity to take a shot and miss on an enemy who doesn't spot you, and still have enough time to get another shot off. You'll see I'll do that several times throughout this video. Alright, so moving on to the next clip, we got Redwood, and I actually really like the map Redwood for this challenge. I just feel like it has some really good lines of sight that you can kind of hang back, sort of at least in relative safety at the edge of the map, and still be able to take a shot at enemies who are in the middle of the map and who may be engaged in other gunfights with your teammates. And if there's one thing to take away from this video, it's the tactic of engaging enemies who are already previously engaged in other gunfights, because that is a great opportunity for you to take a kill. A lot of times enemies in other gunfights, they won't be prepared to deal with you right then and there, and even after the gunfight ends, you'll have a second or two where you'll find that enemy will take a second or two to kind of regroup and maybe reload, and that's a great time. They usually slow down or maybe even stop moving, and that's a great time to basically get a couple extra seconds to line up your shot and go for it. Alright, so right here I'm on a 3-kill streak now, and I'm kind of taking it easy, I don't want to blow it. So I'm just watching the minimap, and I'm looking to see where I have team support. I see that a teammate spawns where I was looking, and so I can rotate around, and again just kind of focus on the areas where my teammates are not. Now all those teammates are actually going to rotate over here, so all of a sudden now a pocket has opened up behind me. So that clues me in that I should probably turn around, because there might be an enemy coming up on the flank, and there he is right there. Or there she is, I should say. But yeah, so if I hadn't turned around in that situation, if I hadn't been paying attention to my minimap, I could have easily gotten shot from behind. But instead it worked out, and I got the kill. So this last kill in this streak, as I was saying before here, I'm just looking for enemies who are previously engaged in other gunfights. And there it is right there. That enemy wins that gunfight, but then he slows down and gives me an opportunity to line up my shot. So, alright, so moving on to the SVG-100. Got Exodus here, and as you see, I joined this game late actually, and I knew there was a guy camping in that building because he killed me right off when I spawned. So I just wanted to go for a nice little revenge kill there, but looking at the scoreboard, I noticed that I was definitely on the weaker team, and so I kind of wanted to play this pretty safe. Definitely took the long route around the edge of the map to avoid the close encounters engagements. Definitely at a disadvantage with those with a sniper rifle. And we end up flipping the spawns here, or my teammates end up spawning over here with me. And I recognize that the enemy team was dominating so much that it's very likely that they'll end up deciding to try to push this spawn. And so what I did is I just hung back and I waited to see if I could challenge an enemy who was maybe more concerned with some of my teammates who were pushing up closer. And there we go, right there. So now this next guy, I couldn't really get a line of sight on him. He was moving, and I was a little concerned that he may have spotted me out of the corner of his eye. So instead, I kind of dashed back and just thought for a second, okay, what's the best strategy here? And what I ended up deciding to do is I decided to push up just a little bit and challenge him maybe a little bit before he expects me to. And I catch him in mid-sprint, and he wasn't even prepared to deal with me there. And then, for whatever reason, I decided to rotate back, I think just kind of to regroup and assess the situation. I think I felt a little bit pinched here. Now, they knew I was back here, but I am using a sniper rifle, and I got, I was basically accepted at that point that I need to hit a perfect shot here, and I did, and that'll happen. So, but the next thing I did is I got out of there as quickly as possible, because that guy is definitely going to want revenge, and there he comes. He's already coming for revenge. Now, a lot of times when players want revenge on you for camping with a sniper rifle, they will kind of get this little tunnel vision where all they're focused on is just picking you off in your little camp spot. So if you can get out of that camp spot before they come for you and get to kind of a counter camp spot, as I like to think about it, you can easily be prepared to pick off a nice kill, because a lot of times they won't even check for you. They'll be so intent on checking the spot that you were just camping, they may not notice you if you're just in a slightly different place. So that's definitely something that you can take advantage of as you're going through this, especially as you're getting closer to 5 kills in your streak. Alright, so in this next clip on Fringe, the opposing team is going to get a couple UAVs, and you'll see how I deal with those, because I definitely don't want to appear on the radar as I'm camping with my sniper rifle. So I'm not running a launcher because I don't want to appear on the minimap, and I don't want to take my eyes off of the game at all to shoot down a UAV. So instead what I'm doing is I'm running the Ghost perk. And right here, I'm basically just trying to see if I can get a line of sight on an enemy who is, challenging a gunfight or just coming off of winning a gunfight. Got a hit marker there, couldn't quite get a nice line of sight, and the enemy team did get a UAV. So I decided to back off and just kind of, hang back for a second, stay out of the action, move around a little bit to stay off the minimap. And right here, you'll see I did find what I was looking for, an enemy who was previously engaged in a gunfight. The enemy wins the gunfight, but then becomes kind of a sitting duck for me. Now this next guy comes around the corner and is clearly using the purifier, and I know he can't hit me from there. So that was kind of a freebie for me. But anyway, so here now I'm going to try to, I know I'm on a 4-kill streak now, and I just want to kind of take it easy. But they get a UAV, so I can't just sit in one spot. So pretty soon I'm going to realize that the best thing to do in this situation is just to kind of, move around, stay off the minimap, but don't try to challenge anybody. Just stay where it's safe and wait until somebody either takes out the UAV, as my teammate just does, or the UAV goes away. Alright, so now that the UAV is gone, I can continue my quest for one more kill. And I see some skulls appear on the map, and I know that that means that enemies are pushing up toward my side of the map, and that they're actually defeating my teammates in gunfights, so I know I can expect to see 1 or 2 of them pretty soon. So I'm just going to kind of camp off to the side, use my kinetic armor just in case, and hopefully shoot one in the back, and there we go. Alright, so there's 5 once again, and we got one more clip for you. This one is actually a match of free-for-all, the rest of them were team deathmatch. This is on Redwood again, and I mostly didn't do free-for-all, I mostly did team deathmatch, as well as ground war, actually. A couple games ground war worked out well. But I actually started this game at the very beginning. I wasn't doing very well, but that's okay. I just kind of kept my chin up, and I finally got a nice spawn at the edge of the map, and then I got a nice lucky quickscope there. So I really wanted to make use of that, take advantage of getting a nice couple kills in a row. So I'm just going to kind of hang back and wait to see if I can get an easy kill on somebody who runs right past me, doesn't notice me. And what I end up doing is kind of rotating off a little bit to the side over here by this little house or hut or whatever you want to call it. And I'm hoping for somebody to spawn back here with me and push up directly from their spawn and kind of run right past me so I can shoot them in the back. And that'll end up happening, but instead of being able to shoot that guy, he quickly ends up in a gunfight. As you see, there he is right there. He quickly ends up in a gunfight and he ends up losing. And so since this is free-for-all, I'll end up picking off the winner of that gunfight because, of course, he's also an enemy. And just like most other players, he after he wins the gunfight, he slows down, stops moving, and regroups, and that's the perfect opportunity to strike. So now at this point, I know that at least a few people, a few of my enemies know that I'm back there. I'm camping with the sniper rifle, and I don't want them to come for revenge all at once. So I just got out of there real quick, gave them some time to kind of reset and maybe realize that I'm not there anymore, as well as allow for players to start spawning back there again, because they generally won't if I'm just kind of camping back there. So I've rotated back around, and what I'm hoping for is to be able to shoot someone in the back who has pushed up from the spawn. And I missed this guy, but once again, using the suppressor gives me an opportunity to take another shot. And there we go. So now at this point, I am on a 4-kill streak, and I really did not want to waste it, so I took quite a bit of time. I realized that the top guy only had 20 kills, and he was kind of going a little bit slow, so I was prepared to take as much time as it required. So while I'm taking my sweet time here, I just kind of wanted to update you on what's coming up next on this channel. I am definitely going to finish this video series. The next one is going to be on the light machine guns, and then I'm going to move into the secondaries with 2 videos on the pistols, 2 videos on the knife, and then one final video with the launchers. But I think I am going to kind of split things up a little bit. I'm not just going to only do this series as I have been. I'm going to do some other guides. I definitely want to do some mothership guides, as well as some guides for some other tricky challenges in this game, like the area denied challenge and some sentry gun challenges and that sort of thing. So stay tuned for a little bit more variety, but I definitely will be finishing this series as well. Alright, so back to the gameplay here. I'm once again pushing up in the hopes that I can free up that spawn for some of my opponents to start spawning in, and then I'm going to rotate back around to see if I can end up shooting anyone in the back. I didn't quite feel confident enough with my sniper to jump into the middle of the map and see if I could challenge an enemy head on. So instead, I was prepared that I may not find anybody, and that's what ended up happening, and that's okay. As I said, I just wanted to play this really safe and take advantage of getting on a nice 4-kill streak, because all I needed was one more. So what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to get a line of sight on an enemy in the middle of the map, but I'll end up missing, and that will happen even though the shot looks pretty good. The game didn't give it to me. I may have just been slightly off to the side, and so just be aware of that. You know, it will happen, and you're going to have to you can't get too frustrated in the moment. So instead of just sitting there, I decided to move away pretty quickly before he figured out how to deal with me. Instead, I pushed off over here to the side, and this actually was far enough over to allow an enemy to spawn back here with me. And I'm using the awareness perk, and I highly recommend you do the same. And I can hear him run right past me, and nicely shoot him in the back, and there we go. So hopefully this video helped you out. I know it is a difficult part of this camo grind, but if you just have patience, you'll get through it. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.